Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to this episode of Coach Caris, Itchy, Bitchy, and guests. Today, it's an honest one. I'm going to call this Life After MyFitnessPal. It is official, my lovelies. For the first time since April 2024, I am off MyFitnessPal. It's actually giving me the fear. I feel a bit anxious. Anyway, 28 pounds of fat loss, which took me just over a year. So it took me the end of April 2024 to the end of June 2025. So 28 pounds, just over a year. Works out about half to three-quarter of a pound a week, I think. A month. No, that's bollocks. A week. Oh my God, my brain's not engaged. Anyway, it was a long time, but with hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, right, it was a realistic time scale because I had holidays, nights out, partying, meals out, takeaways. So I didn't feel deprived. Even when I was on my lowest, most severe deficit, I didn't feel deprived. And because the fat loss was so slow and controlled and planned, it didn't actually affect my training neither. So I didn't feel that I was really struggling to get up in the morning and go and lift some weights and stuff. So it was amazing, right? But I'm now sitting at maintenance calories. So when I hit my goal, right, at the end of June, I was just going into July. I had lots on. I think I was out every weekend, not necessarily drinking, but I was either drinking or there was nice food. There was a lot of partying. There was a holiday. It was my birthday. And then August was pretty much the same. I had another holiday in September. And October's been pretty busy as well, just with weekends and stuff. So I have stayed on MyFitnessPal. So I've stayed tracking my food. I've stayed weighing my food and sticking to my calories. But I have increased my calories slowly each kind of every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. So I'm now sitting at 2,400 calories. Which is awesome, by the way, considering I was on 1,400 for a wee while. So but the ultimate goal with my clients, with myself and with my clients, is to get them away from MyFitnessPal because we want to be confident in just being able to eat, right? Not being a dick, just being able to eat. The amount that I have learned over the last 16 months or whatever by doing this fat loss journey, like obviously in theory, I'm a nutrition coach, right? In theory, I understand the science. And I understand the emotions that can come in to fat loss, especially for us midlife women. But until I'd actually done it myself, and don't get me wrong, I have absolutely dieted before, right? Like, I think I did it on my 20th, my 30th, my 40th, whatever, right? I've done Scottish Slimmers, I've done Weight Watchers, I've done all manner of juice cleanse pish, right? But obviously, I've never actually managed to keep the body fat off because none of the things that I did had an after the diet plan, right? This is why the slimming industry is so profitable because they don't want to give you an after the diet plan because they want you to keep coming back and spending money. Of course they do, right? So anyway, this time I've done it correctly. Got myself a coach. If you've not got yourself a coach, by the way, you should get yourself a coach for accountability. Got myself a coach for accountability. Right? Ate normal food. Knocked my pan in to understand everything. Was aware of my emotions. Cut my calories every time my fat loss stalled. If I knew I was all over it and I wasn't being an idiot, right? And there was a couple of blips along the way, of course there was, but there was also a lot of fun along the way as well. And I never really felt starving. Well, maybe at the end, to be fair, yeah. When I think at one point I was down a half a tin of soup a slice of bread and 2 slices of ham for my lunch. So yeah, I probably was starving. That was an absolute lie. I've obviously forgotten that pain. Anyway, the ultimate goal for my clients is to get them to their fat loss goal, get them to their maintenance calories, and then get them practicing eating without MyFitnessPal. Right? Now, I am absolutely not anti MyFitnessPal. I am very pro MyFitnessPal. I think if you don't go with their calories, if you get somebody sensible to work out a sensible deficit for you, the amount of stuff that you can learn about calories, about portion sizes, about what's actually in your food, about macros, right, is amazing. I think it is a very, very, very good tool. So, but at some point we have to stop ourselves leaning on it as a crutch, right, and start trusting ourselves. So because I have been using MyFitnessPal to gauge my portion control, to gauge what's in my food, to hit my macros, to hit my calories, right, it makes you actually doubt yourself that you can do it. Of course it does. It gives me the fear. It's causing me a bit of anxiety. In all honesty, I feel like I suppose it would be like having your phone taken off you or walking about with your right arm cut off. It's difficult. It is. And that's me being really honest, right? It feels weirdly uncomfortable not logging my food, not weighing my food, and not double confirming everything that yes, it's okay to eat that, right? Which obviously MyFitnessPal does not speak to you, but that's effectively what it's saying to you. Yes, it's okay. You've hit your macros, you've hit your calories. That's a really good portion size. Knock yourself out. So it's really weird that that's not there anymore, and I'm having to trust my brain. So I could eyeball a portion. I know enough that I could eyeball a portion, and I definitely know enough to know what macros are in each food and what a rough calorie content of each food. But it still makes you doubt yourself. So anyway, I'm going to tell you about why I've stepped away from it and how I'm going to build some self-trust, because, you know, I'm always banging on at my clients about anxiety and about facing the fear and doing it anyway. Will you die? Will someone else die? Are you being cunty? No, then you should just do it. So, all right, but it's giving me the fear because I have tried it already and I fucked it. Anyway, right. This is why I chose to stop tracking. So I've reached my fat loss goal. That's why I've chose to stop tracking. Well, that's not true. I've reached my fat loss goal, increased my calories to maintenance, practiced eating at maintenance for 2 months. Then I'm coming off of MyFitnessPal. Never make the mistake of getting to your target weight and then coming off MyFitnessPal, because you will absolutely turn into a dick. I promise you that. Show me one person that hasn't done that. They've got to their goal, thought that they're awesome, got a wee bit arrogant, got a wee bit blasé, ditched MyFitnessPal because you didn't need MyFitnessPal because it's just for fat loss, and you've done the fat loss, so why would you need MyFitnessPal? Whereas in fact, MyFitnessPal is equally for getting to maintenance as it is for fat loss. And I'll say this again, right? And I've said this so many times, and I say it to my clients as well, right? Eating at maintenance is harder than dieting. That's why everybody can diet and everybody could lose weight, but it takes a special cool type of person to actually be able to get yourself to maintenance calories and to eat at maintenance without turning into an absolute dick. All right, so I've reached my fat loss goal. I've got my calories to maintenance over the last 4 or 5 months, and I've practiced eating at maintenance with MyFitnessPal. So now I'm going to take MyFitnessPal away. That's why I'm off MyFitnessPal. All right. The goal isn't and never has been to track your food forever. All right. At some point in your life, you need to trust yourself. You need to free up some brain space, and you need to actually enjoy eating without constantly thinking about the calorie content and the macro content of every single piece of food that you are putting in your body. You should be able to do that all the time. It's hard, right? So what I've learned in the last year and a half, it's now my turn to apply that without the backup of MyFitnessPal. It's a bit like when clients come to me and I get them at their target weight, and then we get them to maintenance calories, and then we practice for a wee month, and then I unclip their wings and set them free into the world, right? It feels Feels like your right arm's been cut off. Feels like your wingman's been taken away from you. So this is my choice. I have to do this. Yeah, so this is why we're doing it. I want to live in a way that, exactly what I've said, that I'm not constantly thinking about the calorie content in each food. I'm not constantly thinking about whether I've hit my macros, right? I know enough, and I need to be able to trust myself that when I have a plate of food, I know that overall for that day, I'm going to hit my macros, right? Like most of us that are successful at fat loss eat the same things most days. So therefore, there is no need to track it, right? I always have baked oats for my breakfast when I'm not working. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I have baked oats for my breakfast. On a Wednesday and a Saturday, I have chopped eggs in a cup with toast. I know the calorie content. I know the macro content. All this week, I've had, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm having a salmon fillet for my lunch, half a packet of rice, and some peas and sweet corn, right? I know the calorie content and the macro content. Today, I had a tin of soup, a slice of bread, 3 slices of ham, and a Laughing Cow cheese spread on the sandwich thing before I put the ham on it, right? I know the calorie content, I know the macro content. It's totally cool. Tonight, I'm having cowboy beans. Had that last night. I totally know the calorie and the macro content. So why... Do you know what I'm saying? You eat the same things most days. I'm going to have a Freddo for my supper tonight because I have a Freddo every night for my supper, and I know exactly the calorie and the macro content of said Freddo. Do you get what I'm saying, right? I know what I'm doing, but I've still got the fear. Anyway, this is the goal, all right? This is the ultimate goal. So, the fear of letting go, and you'll know all this week I'm speaking about anxiety, feeling the fear and doing it anyway, right? I am doing exactly what I preach about on my socials, exactly what I encourage my clients to do, right? So after tracking for so long, it is obviously very natural to feel anxious. Previously, it's like a little security blanket. I'll weigh something, I'll scan it with MyFitnessPal. It will confirm that said quantity of food that I am eating is bang on my calorie target and bang on my macro target. So yes, you are in control, Caris. Go and eat that food. That's what I'm taking away. So I need to get comfortable with the fact that I actually know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing, but it's still fucking scary. All right, so it's about trusting yourself, and it's about trusting yourself that you've learned enough to listen to your body. Right, now, this makes me laugh, right? Because if we were ever very good at mindful eating, right, I would probably be out of a job. Yeah? If everybody was good at mindful eating, nobody would be overweight. Nobody would be fat. So, mindful eating in my head is a bit pish, in all fairness, right? And I have never, ever, ever successfully tried mindful eating in my life. Ever. And I'm sure there's a lot of midlife women out there that can agree with me. So this is what we're going for, all right? And also, sorry, right, so I have the fear, it's making me slightly anxious, all right? However, I'm on day 3. I've not been a dick. It's absolutely cool. Like I said, I've eaten the exact same things, right? It's fine. So just because you're scared doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean that you're going to fail. It just means that you're getting outside your comfort zone, and it just means that you're putting your security blanket away, which is exactly what I'm doing. MyFitnessPal has been a security blanket for me. It's been a tool. It's been a confidence booster for the last 18 months, and I don't need it. See how confident I sounded there? See? 50% anything is confidence. I don't need it. Well, I'm going to try and not need it. Basically, it's still on my phone, by the way. I've not deleted it. But anyway, it's uncomfortable. I feel slightly uncomfortable. But when I started my fat loss journey, I also felt slightly uncomfortable. It was just a different bit of uncomfortable. I felt fat and sluggish and lethargic, and my waistbands were tight. And when I dropped down onto the floor at CrossFit to do a burpee, my stomach hit the floor before my tits did. Right? And that is never a good feeling. Believe me, that is not a good feeling. My leggings would roll down and my tummy would hang over the top of my leggings. And again, that is absolutely not a good feeling. So I didn't feel comfortable when I started. I felt uncomfortable when I started my fat loss journey. So, life's about feeling uncomfortable. Right, anyway, MyFitnessPal, right? I am pro MyFitnessPal. It absolutely teaches awareness. It teaches you about portion sizes. It teaches you about calories. It teaches you about macros. And it teaches you about habits, right? It does not teach you about calorie deficit calories, because I think they pap everybody on 1,200 calories, and that's ridiculous. So please never go with the calories that MyFitnessPal goes with. Get somebody who's educated in calorie deficits to work it out for you, or maintenance calories to work it out for you, and then input your own calories and your own macros into MyFitnessPal, all right? But other than that, it is cool. However, MyFitnessPal is a tool. It is not a lifestyle. It's not meant to be with you all the time, forever. Absolutely not. Just like my clients are not meant to be with me forever, right? We need to get them to a stage that they're fully confident and fully educated in how they're going to live the rest of their life. That is the plan. So, again, MyFitnessPal, the skill is to use it when you need it. You need to learn when you need to use it and when it's time to put it away. This for me is time to put it away. This is the next stage of my fat loss journey. Yeah? I'm doing inverted commas there because just it's a bit wanky, isn't it? I'm on a journey. Anyway, I am, I suppose so. Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm giving myself choices. So what I've said to myself is, because the reason that I'm giving myself choices is the exact same reason that I give my clients choices, right? If I say to my clients, you will do this, what are they going to do? They're going to tell me to fuck off. I used to sit up the back of, I think it was a Weight Watchers class, and the women would be up the front doing our big chat thing, right? And I'd be sitting like a actual childish, tantrumy child in the back row, right? And I'd be sitting saying, fuck you, Susan. She wasn't even called Susan. I can't remember what she was called. Fuck you, Susan. I'm not doing that. Why you tell me that? You've got no right to tell me that. No, I'm not fucking doing it. Right? So you need to give yourself choices. If I felt like I'd had a choice, would I have stuck to it better? More than likely. So this is my choice. I am choosing to put MyFitnessPal away. However, I have left it on my phone. If I feel things slipping, I'll start MyFitnessPal again, maybe for a week, maybe for a fortnight, and then I'll try again until I absolutely smash it. Yeah? Anyway. Right, so this is what I'm going to do to manage maintenance calories, right? Now, bearing in mind, I've been at maintenance calories for a wee while, right? And I've been practicing eating at maintenance by using MyFitnessPal. So I'm just going to trust myself, all right? So I'm going to continue to focus on my habits, my good habits, my balanced meals, right? I know how to build a plate of a balanced meal. I know the calorie content of most snacks and the macro content of most snacks. I'm not going to turn into an idiot and all of a sudden decide that my snacks are going to be whole sandwiches and that my dinner is going to be pizzas. I'm just going to eat the same food, all right? Protein at every meal, veggies at every meal, movement, training, pre-bed routine, yoga and mobility, and daily walks. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to see how hungry I feel and how full I feel before and after I eat. So that's actually going to have to, that's a massive conscious decision, right? Because that is mindful eating, and that's what we're all a bit shit at. So I'm going to be aware when I eat the food of how I felt before I prepared the meal, before I ate it, and after, and during as well. So, yeah. Because some of the portions, because when you go to maintenance, obviously, so the easiest way to go to maintenance calories is just to increase the portion sizes. It's not to add in any extra meals. Just as the same as the easiest way to diet and to eat less is to eat the same meals but just smaller portions. So it's just the opposite of that. So that's what we're practicing. Yeah, keep structure. So I'm not going to change my diet drastically, or that would be a total waste of the last month, right? I am actually just going to eat the same stuff. I'm still going to eat my salmon and my rice and my veg, or my chicken soup and my ham sandwiches, because that's pretty much what I lived on for the last year when I was in my fat loss phase. I'm still going to make my baked oats. If I get bored with baked oats, I'll change it to overnight oats. I'll still have my toast and choppy eggs in a cup. Yeah, my dinners are still the same. We'll have chicken and salad, or cowboy beans or gammon and cauliflower cheese. Had that on Sunday actually, that was very nice. We'll still make the same recipes, we'll still make the homemade burgers, we'll still make the chicken thigh loaded fries. It's about trusting yourself to eat the same size of portions that you were before. It's about eyeballing it as opposed to scanning it on MyFitnessPal. So structure works. And also just monitoring my energy levels, my sleep, whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, obviously do something about it. Just keep up the habits. Hopefully it'll never get bad again. And also your mood as well, because when you're hungry, if you're under eating, sometimes that is a thing, by the way, you're that paranoid about overeating, that you intentionally or unintentionally start under eating, and that's not good. But that's going to affect your mood as well, and it's going to affect your sleep. So obviously I've got my journal, massive journaler. Have you all seen my journals, by the way? Look, this is last year's journal, this colour. You won't see this on Spotify, but you'll see it on YouTube, obviously. And it's got some little journal prompts. Anyway, we've went turquoise this year. So my first year was orange, second year was pink, and this year, third year of client journal. So all my clients get a nice journal for their Christmas. I sat and wrapped them up last year and I had about 40, and this year I think I've got about 60 clients, so I'll know about wrapping them. You'll probably get them handed in a gift bag. In fact, I might just hand you one. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I've got my journals and stuff, all right? So that's just thinking about the cues and stuff to need so that I can monitor how I'm feeling. Anyway, so true freedom, food freedom, right, is eating what you fancy, but mindfully and with practiced portion control. Will there be a time that I'm an absolute dick and I'll decide to eat 4 Freddos in a row? Of course there will, absolutely. But you know, I know enough now not to guilt myself that I'll just get straight back to it the day after. So food freedom, right, and true freedom, it's not about never tracking again, and it's not about never using MyFitnessPal again and thinking that if you have to pick up MyFitnessPal, you've failed. It's not about that. It's about not necessarily needing to actually rely on it. And it's just about giving yourself a choice, basically. There's always choices, all right? So the goal is to have the knowledge and the confidence, massive thing in my coaching, by the way, confidence and self-belief, the knowledge and the confidence to live without that constant measurement, pretty much. Yeah? Take the stabilisers off, man. Honestly. So anyway, I'll keep you updated, all right? This is day 3. I'm on fire. See what I did there? Coaching group on fire. Anyway, I'm on fire, right? Day 3, but it is giving me a bit of the fear, to be fair. But I am going to try it. So if you are someone that's been tracking for a long time and the thought of not logging your food on MyFitnessPal feels absolutely terrifying, I do get it, right? I am there with you. And a lot of the time, us midlife women, we only use MyFitnessPal when we're on a diet. And we associate it with like being starving and very low calories. So the one thing I will say to you is if you are going by the calories on MyFitnessPal, please do not. So get that sorted. That'll obviously make you feel a bit better. And also, part of the reason that I'm doing this is just to make myself anxious. Of course it's not, but I have got a bit of anxiety. I've got a bit of the fear actually about it, but you can, if I don't try it, then I'll never know. So you have to get comfortable with feeling a bit uncomfortable. And I'm just constantly reminding myself that I actually do know what I'm doing. Of course I know what I'm doing. If this was a client, what would I be saying to them? I'd be telling them that they're awesome, that they've learned enough, that they've put all the reps in, they've put all the hard work in, and they can absolutely do it. So that's what I'm trying to tell myself, all right? I have used MyFitnessPal, right, and I did need it for fat loss, and I would recommend that everybody uses some kind of tracking tool for fat loss, but I need to start trusting myself now. So if you're at the same step as me, or you're going to be at the same step of me sometimes in the future, then you won't lose all your progress. You absolutely will not lose all your progress, and you're not going backwards. This is about learning to live freely, and let's face it, that's what midlife should always be about. Speak to you soon, my lovelies. Bye-bye.